everything, most consultants think they need to scrap everything and start over if it's not working. They don't. I've learned the hard way that you often don't need a big reinvention, just one small tweak. So my framework came from really a lifetime of pivoting, truly. But after high school, my parents moved away and I had to figure out housing, school, work, all on my own. I couch surfed. I hustled into jobs I actually technically didn't even qualify for, and I learned to adapt really fast. Eventually, I landed at a trade association after college and worked my way up to director of communications. Then came another pivot, moving across the country to a city where I knew no one. And that's when I decided to start my own consultancy. And from there, the pivots just kept coming, moving again, launching my agency Zoetica with partners, taking it over on my own when they were ready to move on, starting a local social media breakfast meetup from scratch, and reshaping everything again during COVID. I don't know if you guys have had that. I'm sure many of you have had these many pivots, but when you pivot all the time, you start to learn a few things about what's working and what's not working. And so I really want to share that with you today a little bit. So my framework, which I'm going to pull up here on the screen if you can see it. I don't know. Somebody commented, so that's good. Oh, yeah, you can only see the small window of me, huh? I don't know what's going on with that. That's strange, but let me see if I can get it bigger somehow. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to add it to the stage. So this is the pivoting framework that I want to share with you today. Different, faster, better, and more. And the different, faster, better, and more is something that I just came up with because you need something simple sometimes to think through whenever there's things going on. So say it's not working. Say you don't have if you're a consultant, you need clients, right? So if you all of a sudden lose a big client, or you have a lot of things that happen where you can't find new clients for a while, or it takes a really long time to just sign a new client or do that kind of thing, then sometimes I think what we really want to do is just scrap everything and start all over again, right? So it just feels like that sometimes, like we need to start all over or we want to start all over. But really, these small little tweaks can make a huge, huge, huge difference in your business. And so I'm going to go through each one of these and kind of tell you how I think about it, so that way you can kind of apply it to your own situation and think about your own situation and see if it fits. So the first one is different. Just doing something slightly different. So taking the same offer that you already have. So for example, I'm going to pull up an example here so I don't forget what I'm talking about, but here it is. So you change what you're offering, and instead of just generic social media management, for example, you would position yourself as the consultant who builds executive LinkedIn authority for CEOs and healthcare, like just kind of zoning in on that. So for example, we've been doing social media for a really long time for healthcare organizations at Zoetica, over a decade actually. But one of our clients wanted us to support an executive with their social media. We hadn't done that before, but we'd worked with this client for a long time. So we said, yes, we'll do that. And we jumped in and we started to do that. And then we took that experience and we packaged it. And then we took it out to other verticals and other executives. So then we started to manage executive profiles. It's not the only thing we do, but it's definitely one of our big products that was really helpful. And it was something that people really needed. So taking something you already do, which is done for you social media, which we've done forever, which has become a bit of a commodity. Honestly, people are wanting to get their social media done, but they want it for the cheapest price possible, blah, blah, blah. So how do you bring that to the next level? Well, in addition to done for you social media, why don't we also handle your executive presence? That's an extra thing you can add on as well. So just doing something slightly different in your positioning. Also, for example, a big, client may not want to give you their entire social media management because they're like, we have it handled internally. But our executive, that's a little bit different. We need them to have some kind of thing. And so you might be able to do that for them and then get in the door. By the way, then they might ask you to do more things if they like you and it's working. So remember, like, just taking what you already do and just repackaging it a little bit differently, for a different, slightly different market, and going in a little bit deep there. Also, that can help you to get in that door. One of the other things we've done too is like create a playbook instead of doing complete done for you social media. We'll put together a playbook, which is basically a strategy, and give that to them, and maybe even get some training dollars to help them stand that strategy up. And then, of course, if they're like, hey, I'm overwhelmed and I want some more help, then they might bring us in to help with that too, or not. But the point is that you get a client, you get in the door in the area where you're at. So just that slight tweak, do you see how that can actually make a huge difference in bringing in cash flow? That's really important. Okay, so the next one is faster. I mean, one of the things you can do is make things go a lot faster. So, say you offered a 90-day content strategy, which I used to do, by the way. And instead of delivering everything like over 90 days, you could like accelerate that and do a 7-day quick start with some templates and ideas that they can launch immediately and then build out the whole 90 days behind it. So, anytime you can front load that and deliver something a little faster than making them wait this entire period is really a good idea too. So think about the products and services you have. What piece of it could you accelerate a little faster so that the clients are feeling like they're getting something? And by the way, when you go and you sell this to them in a proposal or whatever, you can actually put that in your proposal as well, as that you have this quick start. All these other agencies are going to take forever, but we have a quick start. We start working on it right away, so you can start getting things out in the field. So that's another thing you might want to think about doing. So again, apply this to you. I'm just trying to give you some examples and ideas, but I've seen consultants win clients just by shaving down the timeline just a little bit. And the work was the same, but the perception of speed made them the obvious choice. Also, going from a done for you to a done with you, or do it yourself kind of a model where you shave everything down and hand it to them so that they can put it into play. So do a 7-day quick start or a 7-day challenge or whatever, and teach them the method, and then they go out and do it themselves. You can put 10 or 15 people into that, which might actually make you as much money as you would have with the client. So again, think broader, especially right now that it's really hard. I know we're having trouble too getting clients. It's been a little bit harder than usual. People are a little bit, cautious right now with their money, which is fine. So you need to think about how you can add value in this case. So then the other thing I wanted to talk about is more. So more is a really fun thing. So you don't have to give more for less money. That's one of the things that I urge that you don't do. Don't definitely don't over deliver in that sense, but you want to have something that you can give a client. So a lot of times I'll add a little, what I call a lanyap, to my proposals. And that comes from the fact that I lived in New Orleans for a little period of time, and I learned about the lanyap, which means it's a little something extra. So you go in a restaurant, and the chef comes out and brings you a little something, a sampler. Well, this is really what I'm talking about here too. Like, you can apply it to your consulting, which I think is really a great way to delight clients. And so one of the things that we've done is including um, a short video summary or something like that, along with any results reports that you give. So you may like send a report every month. So why not also put it together in a little like slideshow video so that they can look at it over, and then they can go in depth into the report if they want to. And I don't know if she's still here, so thank you, Sherry, for stopping by. But one of the things I saw recently was my friend Sherry. I'm just going to put her on the spot here because she's doing something really cool that is a little bit like having a little lanyap. And so she has a really great consulting firm where she takes stuff off of the internet, and she uses some AI and some magic and her background to put it all together and to bring a report to her clients so that they can see how people are, what the trends are online right now, what people want, what they need. So she does that with this really great AI tool and some other things she does. And I saw this on this video, which I hope you can hear it when I do it, but Doesn't even matter if you can hear it, but what she's done is she's gone ahead and created a spa report. I don't know if you can hear this. So it's a trend report for July of 2025, and she's taking it to med spas. So she's done what she does, which is create one of these, and she's taking it around to all these people so they can see with their own eyes how valuable it is. So that's on the front end, like a little free something up front, a little freebie or a little sample of what you can do. And then she'll say, hey, if you can want to continue getting this kind of information, you can subscribe to it. And hey, if you're subscribing to it and you want a little bit more about your specifics med spa, why don't you like hire me? I will put a little bit in extra for you. So you can do it on the front end, like Sherry's doing it too, which I think is really smart and really bright. Of course, she's very bright anyway. So thank you, Sherry, for giving me this example. But these are the types of things you can add into the more category where you're just adding a little bit of extra. You're going the extra mile that most people will not go. So, and really, it's one report. She's used to doing these. She's like, I can do this real quick. She wants to open this up. She wants to work with med spas. If you're a med spa, call Sherry. You can DM me and I will send you her information. But the truth is that that is something that you can do that makes it very easy for people to start working with you. And unfortunately, we do kind of tend to stay behind our little computer screens and our little offices, and we don't do these extra little things. And so I love that this is a real world example of going out into public and taking this with her. So good job, Sherry. So that was my example. Thank you to Sherry for how you can add a little bit more. One of the things I've done too, I talked to you about the 90 days of content. That is one of the things that we do is create 90 days of content for our clients. But sometimes people hire me for a strategy and they don't really want me to do content. So if somebody hires me for a strategy, I sometimes put a 90 days of content ideas done for you as a non cost item in the proposal. Like it's a little something extra we throw in. If you go with us, we'll do this for you. So it's just that little extra thing. And it doesn't take us as much time. Yeah, you got a gold star for today. It doesn't take you as much time as we're really used to doing these 90 days of ideas. It's something we have a framework for it. We have a system and a process. And so if you've already paid me a good bit of money actually for a strategy, then I might as well add this in on the proposal to get you over the hump in signing the proposal. Because that's sometimes the hardest part, by the way, is getting them to sign the proposal because they get in their hands, they're looking at it. So whatever you can do to get a client over that point by helping them and by giving them massive value, making it a no-brainer for them to work with you is really important. Okay. So enough of that. And then the last one is really about more. And more is, or I'm sorry, better. More better. That's what my mom would say. More better. So better, what I mean by better is taking something that you already have done to improve your process or packaging. So sometimes, clients may kind of, especially if you have a month to month to month to month type of a product, they may drop you for some reason. And maybe it's because they just don't feel there has been a lot of change or whatever. They get bored. I don't know. It just clients do this sometimes. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's whatever. But thinking about all of your products and all of the packaging around your products, how can you bring value around that? So it's just instead of just handing over a report, for example, why not add a live workshop with the client's team to implement the findings? That could be a really good thing that you'd put in there that was just a slight difference. You're not just handing them over a report like, here's your strategy, good luck. We'll talk about it over one phone call. Well, why not then just also do that? I did that with a nonprofit here in town. We created a strategy for them, but then I worked with them. I gave them like 3 or 4 workshops with their team to get them ready and answer their questions and go through all of it and train them on how to use the playbook. We call them playbooks. So if you're doing that, you might want to think about adding just that extra step that will make them feel very confident that the thing that they're investing in will go to use. Because I don't know how many strategies have gone into like a corner somewhere, never to see the light of day again. But I think that quite a few have. So really, a better kind of thing would be that. So something you already do and framing it as a premium experience is another way too. So um, just taking that thing and up leveling it to premium level. By the way, another thing I'm going to let you know is that it's almost as easy, or hard, I guess. Okay. So it's almost as hard to sell somebody on a low ticket item as it is on a high ticket item. Like, I feel like sometimes you put as much effort into either one. And I have low ticket items, I have high ticket items, I have both. So I've sold both. I've sold a $20,000 thing and I've sold like a $79 a month thing. It's kind of interesting because people have the same concerns and objections, no matter how big the price tag is. So I think building a better package where people feel like they can really understand it is good. So if it's not selling, it might not be because it's a bad product. It might be because you haven't quite put the marketing or the value around it so that they feel confident. And also with better, sometimes better means preparing people for your service. So they may not buy your service, not because they don't want it or think it might be good, but they may not buy it because they feel like they couldn't put it to good use because they're not ready. Like, I haven't gotten my ducks in a row, or I don't understand this quite yet, so I can't quite go with what you're saying. So always thinking one step ahead of where you're selling is good for better as well, because you could add the thing that's keeping them from taking you up on your offer. Now, I'll give you an example. So, for example, if you were going to build a website, and we're like, here, we want to get your website. Let's get it going. But the problem is you're not getting your website done because why? Because you don't know what all of the content is going to be, or you don't know what all of the offers are going to be that you're going to put on your website, or something like that. So you need to find out for your client what it is that's stopping them. Like, I don't know something, or maybe they feel like they need to go out there and get testimonials from their clients to put on their website. So why don't then you add a product called testimonial gathering in your website product? So you would help them get those testimonials. So again, there's usually something that's stopping people from buying. Often they'll call it money, and money can be one of the things. But the main thing is probably because they feel like they can't get the value out of what you have, because it can be like they feel like it's their fault. Like, I'm not ready. Like, I don't want to do this. So I think that's really interesting. And that's where the better comes in. So like, how can you build a better offer that really like addresses those objections and gets ahead of it? So that's it. I'm not going to go much further than that. I just wanted to let you guys know that there is an easier way. I've had a lot of people come to me lately and go, should I even be a consultant anymore? I don't feel like I'm getting traction. People aren't taking me up on my offers. I don't have an offer that I feel like, there's a lot of us that also just constantly do that as well. We're just, creating to order, so a client comes in your life and then you create something for them, and then another client comes and you create something different. So one of the things that you need to do is really think about your offers, and this pivoting framework can help you do that. Like, think about your offers and make sure that you have offers that you can repeat over and over and over again, because then you can go back and forth. You can give a speech, and then from that speech, maybe you can create a product that's a training, and then from that training, maybe somebody wants to work with you to have you do that thing. So you want to make it modular so that you're building things that can go both ways, that can be used as a done for you, done with you, or a done on your own, done, you do it yourself types of things. So think about ways you could package what you already have in different ways that you might get some traction. So that's it, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for this. So different, faster, better, more. Sorry, I was in the little small screen the whole time. I couldn't make it go bigger. I don't know why, but I am so excited to to talk to you about this. So if you are like, I don't know what to do, let me know. There's a couple of ways I can help you, but for sure, Smart Social Mastery, which is my group coaching program for PR consultants and coaches, PR and marketing consultants and coaches. If you want to be a part of that group, we have a really great team of people that are just like you, that are going through all of these things too. And we talk about these things all the time. So let me know in DMs or in the comments, and I will send you more information about that. It's not open right now, but it will be in probably about a month or so. So let me know if that's of interest to you. But in the meanwhile, just take your offers and do this. And then let me know if it worked. Let me know if this sparked anything for you, if you're going to make any changes. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic day. And thanks so much for tuning in.